You're listening to the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe, a podcast of curated conversations with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development. Get ready for inspiring interviews, educational lessons, and thought-provoking discussions that will challenge you to execute something new and innovative that will drive results in your organization. And now, here's Dr. Taunya Lowe.
Hello, you're listening to the Results Driven Organizations podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe. Using my results driven philosophy of strategy, leadership, teams, and customer experiences, I help organizations develop their best kept secret, their human capital. This podcast is designed to expand the conversation with C-suite leaders and those who support organizational growth and development, and what it really takes to create, develop, and maintain results-driven and high-performing organizations. Welcome back, leaders, decision makers, change makers. As we wrap up season 4, I couldn't think of a better topic to end on than the power of mentorship. That's right, the power of mentorship. January is National Mentoring Month. And this is the perfect time to talk about building bridges across our wonderfully diverse workforce. You know, I was reflecting the other day on how unique our current workplace landscape is. I was actually on vacation celebrating my birthday, having a birthday beverage, talking about the changing workplace. I mean, it's always on my mind, even when I'm having fun. But I digress. For the first time in history, we have up to 5 generations working side by side, from our traditionalists and baby boomers with their wealth of experience and their industry insight, to our passionate Gen Zers who bring fresh perspectives, their digital native instincts. This diversity is an untapped gold mine of knowledge exchange. But are we wasting it? But here's the thing. The question is, are we wasting it? But on the other side is this knowledge transfer doesn't happen by itself. I've had a lot of coffee this morning. I'm like, my brain is moving faster than I can talk. Knowledge transfer doesn't happen by itself. As leaders, we need to be intentional about creating these connections. And this is so important. It's such an important topic because I think about my own growth, my own career growth. I had mentors along the way. I had people who poured into me. I had people in the workplace who lent their knowledge to help me grow. And I'm not seeing that a lot. I'm not seeing that a lot across the board. So when we talk about making things great again, let's make the workplace great again. And let's start by mentoring. I want you to think about it. Your new employees, especially those from Gen Z, are entering the workforce during one of the most transformative periods in workplace history. I mean, they're navigating hybrid work environments, rapidly evolving technology, which even though they've always been a part of technology, not how technology fits into the workplace. And I think many times, we assume that social media is technology as opposed to maybe some of the tools that we use in the workplace. We know that our Gen Zs are very, very competent when it comes to social media. But then when we take other forms of technology and the application of how it fits to, or how it is in alignment with a project, or how it is in alignment with the work that is done in an organization, there can sometimes be a gap there. So when we think about the Gen Z population, they're navigating all of these things. They need more than just orientation, do your paperwork, and here's the employee handbook. They need guides. They need mentors who can help them navigate not just their roles, but their careers. As John Maxwell would say, I quote John Maxwell often, he is my friend. They need wings. They need guides. They need mentors, and that will allow them to have the wings to fly. So let me paint a picture for you. What makes an exceptional mentor? I want you to think about that. The best mentors I've seen aren't just successful in their fields. They're excellent listeners who ask powerful questions, because great leaders ask great questions, right? Good leaders ask great questions. They don't just give answers. They help mentees discover solutions, not by giving them the answer, not by saying, but back in my day, well, if I were you, I would do X, Y, Z. That's not a good mentor. And oftentimes we want to share those stories, but we need to think about, why am I sharing this story? And is this the right time? Good mentors are vulnerable. They're vulnerable enough to share their failures along with their successes. And look, you didn't get to where you are without failing. So stop trying to be brand new and act like you woke up in the VP or CEO seat, because you did not. Most importantly, good mentors understand that mentoring isn't about creating a mini me, right? Because I think sometimes our big E, which is our ego, wants to create a mini me as a part of your workplace legacy. But it's not about that. It's about helping someone become their best authentic self, just who they are. And you're there to guide them. And so you may be asking, okay, so that's what makes a great what makes a great mentee? Well, I'm glad you asked. When you're thinking about mentoring someone, you want to look for those who are eager learners in your organization. They are sponges. They ask thoughtful questions in meetings. They volunteer for new projects. They're curious about what's happening in other departments and the connections between those departments. They don't just need to be just your new employees, right? Not, well, this is the new person, so I'm going to mentor them. I think that's great as well. They don't just need to be a Gen Z team member. Sometimes they can be an experienced professional who's looking to transition into leadership roles or explore new areas of the business. You probably have someone who's been in the organization 3 to 5 years who could really benefit from having a mentor. Now let's talk about the organizational impact, because that was a lot. When you create a culture of mentorship, something magical happens. I mean, magical. Knowledge transfer accelerates. It just flies off the shelves. Institutional wisdom gets preserved and enhanced. Employee engagement soars. Did you know that 90% of workers with a mentor report greater job satisfaction? 90%. But perhaps most importantly, it creates a sense of belonging, which is crucial for retention in today's workplace. And we don't hear, the data shows that many Gen Zers they feel alone at work. They don't feel like they belong. They feel disconnected. And so a mentoring relationship can also close that gap. So here's my challenge to you as we close out not only this season, but this year. Let's create a mentorship initiative that's more than just another HR program. Like, it's got to go beyond that. I'm going to share a framework with you that you can implement in your organization starting next month, because it's National Mentoring Month. And I'm going to run through it really quickly, but don't worry, you can grab it and download it from the show notes. And if you're on our mailing list, I'll mail it to you. And if you'd like to be on our mailing list, just leave a message wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Overwhelmed by emails, scheduling, and admin tasks? Eva's virtual assistants can help you get more time in your day. They manage calendars, handle customer service, and tackle projects 24/7. Reclaim your time and focus on what matters. Visit the show notes page to connect with Eva Virtual Assistants. Let's do more. Now back to the show.
So step one, identify your mentor pool. Survey your experienced employees about their interest in mentoring. Look beyond traditional leadership roles. Some of your best mentors might be technical experts or project managers, so they don't have to be in a quote unquote leadership role. Consider creating different types of mentoring relationships, like your traditional one-on-one. I love reverse mentoring, where younger employees teach digital skills, and peer mentoring. And so that's step one. Step two is structure your program or structure your initiative if you don't like programs. We've gotten so sensitive with language these days. So create some clear guidelines about meeting frequency. How often will the pair meet? Will it be monthly at a minimum? And I would suggest that at a minimum. Set expectations for both mentors and mentees for the program. But I also think it's important for mentors and mentees to set expectations once they're paired up. You want to provide conversation starters and goal setting techniques, and we may create some of those for you. I don't know. Just check in the show notes page. You never know what you'll find in the show notes page unless you go and check, right? So, in addition to this framework, goodies, and then you want to establish check-in points to evaluate program effectiveness in order to really determine, is mentorship effective in your organization? You've got to evaluate the different milestones. So think about how you want to do that. Step three, make smart matches. I had an opportunity to work with an organization where they were trying out mentoring maybe about 4 years ago. Everything is either before the pandemic or after the pandemic. And this was before the pandemic. And they took the mindset of like speed dating. They would have like an offsite, and people who were interested in being mentors would connect and what do you call it? A team build with people who were interested in having mentors. And then at the end of the day, the mentors would write down their top 3 candidates of the people they wanted to mentor, and the mentees will write down their top 3 candidates of the people they wanted as mentors. And then at the end of the day, people were matched up. So they had an opportunity to kind of get to know each other in an informal setting if they didn't already. And they got an opportunity, both got an opportunity to select, knowing that the final decision would come down to the planning committee. So that's what I mean in step 3 when I say make smart matches. Consider cross-departmental pairings, look for complementary skills and experiences, allow for chemistry meetings before finalizing matches. So that's kind of what I described. And then create a process for respectfully changing matches if necessary. All matches are not made in heaven. Sometimes it's just not a good fit. And so make that a part of your program guidelines. Like after 3 or 4 meetings or so, if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. If it don't fit, don't force it. Just relax and let it go. Okay. It's December. It's Sagittarius month. I can turn everything into a song. Back to these tips, okay? Back to these tips. So step 4, support the relationship. Offer mentor training sessions. Everyone who wants to be a mentor may not understand how to be a mentor. Oftentimes we want to provide what we never had, but we need some support around that. So offer mentor training sessions, create some training guides, some tips on how to mentor successfully without just kind of going in trying to create a mini me. So you can do that by providing resources and discussion guides. Create a community where mentors can share their experiences and their tips on how to best mentor. And then celebrate mentoring successes publicly. I'm always about celebrate the your successes along the way. Don't wait until the end. If it's a 1-year program or however long you decide, don't wait until the end. Celebrate along the way. Celebrate quarterly. Celebrate, 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 celebrate. Okay, so as we head into the new year, I want you to imagine your organization 6 months from now, buzzing with these meaningful connections and conversations. Picture your experienced employees energized by sharing their guidance, their wisdom, their knowledge. Your new team members growing more confident and capable. Your Gen Zers not being fired or walking out the door. And your organization becoming stronger through these bonds. Can you just close your eyes and imagine that for a moment? This isn't just about professional development. I mean, we do professional development, but this is about igniting something new and exciting and engaging within your culture. It's about creating a workplace where wisdom flows freely across generations. And we've been talking about the multiple generations. We've been talking about upskilling and reskilling. We've been talking about creating an organization where every employee feels valued for both what they can learn and what they can teach. So as we close out season 4, and it's been an amazing season, I want to hear from you. What mentoring initiatives have you worked on in your organization already? What are you planning to do? What challenges have you faced? Share your experiences in the comment. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, please share your experiences. I want to hear from you. And remember, in a world where technology often keeps us apart, mentorship brings us together. And we need more things to bring us together now more than ever. It's time to harness the power of all generations in the workplace, not dividing, and create something extraordinary. Thank you for being a part of another amazing season. We're celebrating episode 75. This is our 75th episode of RDO, Results Driven Organizations Podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe. And I want to thank you for being a valuable listener. I can't wait to see what you'll build in the year ahead. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Visit the show notes to grab those goodies. While you're there, get a copy of Results Driven Organizations, the 4 Keys to a High Performance Workplace. While you're also there, grab a copy of the 2024 Leaders Reading List, our special gift to you for being a valuable listener. And know that our 2025 reading list is being developed as we speak. It's going to be amazing. So happy holidays, happy National Mentoring Month, happy all of the things, right? All of the things. Until next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Results Driven Organizations Podcast with Dr. Taunya Lowe. Be sure to review the show notes for the resources mentioned, and don't forget to grab your free gift available at freegiftfromtanya.com. Until next time.